Hi guys, Sean here, and I'm doing another movie review. This week I am doing the review on a series that I really enjoy watching, the Underworld series. Yes, there's 4 movies, I only have 3 cases, and that's because I bought this one as a double feature. And I will be starting with the first 2 movies, because they came out first. I will be starting, though, with the first movie, Underworld, released September 2003, I almost said 2013. Um, Underworld, September 2003, was released under the direction of Len Weissman, starring Kate Beckinsale and Scott Speedman, along with Michael Sheen and Bill Nye. Can't forget those guys. When I first saw this, I actually seen the first movie second, because when I first watched the movies, I saw them in chronological order. So I basically saw this one first. And then I saw these two, and then I saw Awakening. So I watched them in chronological order. Basically, the plot of the first movie is the werewolves are the Lycans, basically as you call them in the movie, are tracking somebody who has a direct bloodline to a man named Alexander Corvinus, and they are trying to find a human descendant who has the untainted, I guess you say, DNA strand of his. So they find this guy, Michael Corvin, and they find he's an exact match. And basically the film is about the Lycans trying to find him and create a hybrid. I think. I don't know. I really didn't like the first one, so I didn't really follow the storyline. Basically though, the first movie I thought was a little Like, I didn't care for it, really. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I didn't like it as much as I like the other 3 movies. The one I have the unrated extended edition. See? I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but... See? Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see that. It's unrated extended edition. But I thought the movie was a cool movie. Didn't like it as much as I liked the other 3. Speaking of the other 3, now I'm going to review the second one, Underworld Evolution. I liked that one a lot more than the first movie, because I thought the story was good. I thought the villain was better. It explained more of the backstory about the origins of the species of the vampires and lycans, and I just thought it was a really cool storyline. The second movie stars pretty much everyone from the first movie, with a few exceptions. You have Kate Beckinsale, Scott Speedman, Shane Brawley, and Bill Nye all return. Shane Brawley was in the first movie, and he played Craven, who I basically thought was the main antagonist of the film, but ended up being Victor, played by Bill Nye. So I was dead wrong on that one. And the new people to the stable, I guess you could say, are Tony Curran, Stephen McIntosh, and Derek Jacobi, who play Marcus. I forgot the one guy's name. Tanis, and then Alexander Corvinus. In this film, it also explains the first werewolf, who was Marcus' twin brother, William, and he was captured over centuries ago by Victor. He figured he couldn't kill Marcus, or not Marcus, but he couldn't kill Marcus or William, because he thought that if they were to die, then all the vampires and werewolves lycans would be wiped out. And I guess reverted back to like human form or just die off. I don't know. But this, I think the story of the second movie was a lot better. Um, there were some cool action scenes. Like at the end of the first movie, and then the second one, Michael is the first stable hybrid that has been made because he has the Corvinus strain. So he is the first self-stable hybrid because they've tried doing hybrids before, but according to Celine, Kate Beckinsale, nobody has lived through it. They're being bitten by both species. She says that in the first movie, most people die within an hour after being bitten by both species. So it was nice that Michael was actually the first of the hybrids. Now on to the prequel, Underworld: Rise of the Lycans. This one I liked better than the second movie because I like backstories really. This one takes what was explained in the first movie, the genetic memories, it takes those and expands it and gives more of a storyline. This film was the first and only movie to not feature Kate Beckinsale in the film, although she does do a voiceover and appears at the end of the movie as a flash forward or flashback kind of thing to set up the first movie. So I'm kind of glad I watched this one first. But this one stars Michael Sheen, Bill Nye, Rana Mitra, Stephen McIntosh, Kevin Grovex, I can't pronounce his name, and they're all in this movie. This basically explains the origins of the war that takes place in the first two movies and how the Lycans basically rose up against their vampire masters, which I thought was really. I think that's a really cool kind of rebellion storyline. This movie I saw first, like I said. I did not see this in theaters. Did not see the other two in theaters. Yeah, I really can't say much about these movies because I haven't really seen them in a long time. Now on to the most recent one, Underworld Awakening. A lot of people hate this film, especially because I think it's because Kate's the only one who is returning, and also the false advertisement of the plot. Basically, the plot online says that that humans have acknowledged the existence of vampires and werewolves, or vampires and Lycans, and Celine leads an all-out war against the humans. And people only say that within the first 5-10 minutes of the movie. Basically, the plot of this movie is Celine wakes up after being cryogenically frozen for 12 years, and she finds that she has had a daughter with Michael, and her daughter is basically the main focus of the film or something. Basically, in this, the scientific company called Antigen, who has been holding Michael and Celine, basically. Oh, and speaking of Michael, Scott Speedman is not featured in this movie. However, there is a stand-in with a CGI graphic likeness of his face to make you think that Michael's in it, because he's only in a couple scenes, so they didn't. I guess that's why Speedman didn't come back, because he didn't want to be reduced to a cameo. Which I can see that part. I can see that he didn't want to be reduced to a cameo. So I think it's one of the reasons why he didn't come back. That's why he did. I think he did The Vow instead. It was either that or The Vow paid him more money. I don't know. So yeah, I thought this movie was a really cool film. Kate is the only one returning, and this film basically picks up 9 days after the end of Evolution. So almost a week after Evolution. And this one, the film stars Kate Beckinsale, obviously, Stephen Rea, Michael Ealy, Theo James, India Isley, and Charles Dance. Basically, the premise of this movie is Celine finds that she has a child. The child is basically being raised by the science company, and they want to harvest her. And the science company is full of Lycans, basically. And they want to harvest her DNA to create a cure, I guess, to basically make it so they can be not affected by any metal or something. Basically, the stuff you would think would affect a werewolf, they want to make it so they're not affected by it. So, yeah. And the only downside to this movie, I thought, really, was that Kate was the only returning person. But other than that, I enjoyed the movie. I think I'm not sure. I think watching it again, it's not as good. I don't think it's as good as the other three movies. Or it's not. I know it's not as good as the first movie. Alright, scratch that. It's better than the first movie. I can tell you that one. The first one, I think, is the fourth goodest, the fourth best. I think it's way down on my list of favorites of the series. The second and third movie are my favorite ones. This comes in third. This is in third place on my favorites. And I really hope they do a fifth movie eventually, because the way they ended it is where they go to Michael's freezing room, I guess you could say. They find he's not in his case, so they go looking for him on the roof. He's not there, and then it basically just ends like that, to where they have to go and find Michael and reunite with him. So I really hope they do a fifth film. If they end it like this, I'm not gonna be happy. I think that's really all I can say right now. For those people who probably never watched Underworld, I would recommend you watch it in this order. Start with Rise of the Lycans, watch the first two movies, and then Awakening. Basically watch them in chronological order if you've never watched them before. That's how I saw them. And that way you'll get a better understanding of the storyline if you do it like that. So this is Sean saying good day.